You are now listening to the Building Her Dream podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with introverted women entrepreneurs who are building their dream lives and businesses on their own terms. Hosted by business operations strategist, author, and the founder of Building Her Dream, Shayla Burton. To learn more about this podcast and our magazine, visit www.buildingherdream.com. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Building Her Dream podcast. I'm your host and lifelong introvert, Shayla Burton, and I'm so excited to chat with today's guest. She is Paula Banks, a children's book author from Virginia. Hello, Paula. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. So happy to be chatting with you
Y-
today.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what's really great is Paula is featured in the most recent issue of Building Her Dream magazine. So if you have not read that yet, go to our website and check that out for sure. Now, I always like to start off with like a fun question. And we talked a little bit about this in the magazine interview. But Paula, if you could wake up tomorrow and have your perfect dream life, what would that look like for you?
It would be me and my husband able to travel the world whenever we wanted to. I would be a full-time author,
Okay.
and I would just write from any place in the world. That would be my perfect dream life, just to be able to travel freely, not, held down by constraints of a full-time 9 to 5. Um, that is the dream and the goals. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good to me. Where would you like to go? Like if you could go anywhere now, where would you visit?
Um, Me and my husband love St. Martin's. We have been going there for the last 4 years. And that is like the place that we would love to go and have a second, like a vacation home or somewhere that we can just get away to. We're actually going in next month, for another week, and we just love it there. It's a perfect island, very slow paced. So that would, if we could go, if somebody said, "Where do you want to go right now?" We would say, "Let's go to St. Martin." Definitely.
Wow. Interesting. I've never been, and
I
I'm a little jealous that
love
you're
it.
going again.
Yep, that is our annual trip with friends. And then
Mm.
we have friends who actually move there, so we go on a big trip. And usually it's May, but this year it's June. And then me and my husband usually go out and stay with them in December. So we love it there. We absolutely do.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. So, Paula, for those of us who aren't familiar with you, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I am Paula Banks. I am a children's author, just a newly children's author. I actually published my first book in February of this year, and my second book just came out on Tuesday. It's a book series called Peyton's Journeys, and this was the second book. I've always loved to write, always wanted to write, but life got in the way. Had kids, career, marriage, so it's always was put on the back burner. Um, so I'm slowly pushing towards 50, and I'm closer to 50, and I was like, I want to write, and my husband was like, "Are you going to do this or not?" And I was like,
Mm.
you know what, time is I'm not getting any younger. So I went for it. I told myself in December that I would publish my first book by the end of January of the end of 2024. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to publish my second book only in May of 2024. So things, once I let go of my fear and self-doubt and everything and just jumped, like opportunities literally just started opening, things just started happening. Um, I've been married to my husband for the last 24 years. We have two sons, Elijah and Zion. One is 23 and one is 21. I work a full-time job as an implementation specialist for a company I've been with for the last 18 years. But writing is my passion. I My goal is to do it full time. But right now it's something that I just love to do. But unfortunately, I have to work to pay some bills. So
Yeah.
that is my secondary job is writing. But yeah, that's really it. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and I was born and raised in New York, and I've been in Virginia for the last 21 years. Since my youngest is 21, so the last 21 years I've been here. And I'm just enjoying life.
Love that. Very good. So you do all of these things and you're also an introvert.
Yes.
When did you first like realize that you were an introvert?
I think I didn't know what an introvert was. I just know that I wasn't very outgoing. Now, if you ask anyone today, they would say you're not an introvert. And they'll be like, you're not. And I'm just like, I am. It just depends on who I'm around. Like if I was
Yeah.
to meet people, I'm not going up to people. I'm not the type to have small talk or have conversations. That
Yeah.
is not me. But if I know you, of course, I'm fun, I'm outgoing, but I think I'm very much an introvert. I just didn't know what it was. I've always been shy, or
Yeah.
I'm not very, wasn't very outspoken. I always played the background. And that's just how I've always been. I mean, as the years went on, I had to step out of that box because of, work or whatever have you. But I'm still very much an introvert. I just know what it is now. There's a word for it.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, I think same for me. Like I didn't realize what an introvert was until I was an adult. I just knew that I was quieter. Um, but so do you have siblings?
I have an older brother and a younger sister. She's Me and my brother are like 2 years apart, and me and my younger sister are 13 years apart. So there's a
Oh,
huge
okay.
age gap there. Yes.
Yeah, I have a sister that's 14 years younger than me. So
Yes. Mhm.
yeah. Um, so growing up, you were a little bit quieter. Um, how did your uh family perceive your quieter nature? Like, did they support it or did they want you to speak up more? What
I
was it
think
like
it's
growing up?
my mom supported it. She knew that I was really shy, so she wanted to push me out there. So my brother was into sports, a lot of sports. He was into a lot of things. He was real like outgoing. So
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm gonna sign you up for basketball," and I was like, "Oh my god!" But she was like, "You have to do something. You can't just, you have to get out there." I mean, fortunately, that was a great thing because I loved basketball and I played it from like fourth grade all the way up to my senior year in high school. So
Nice.
that was a good thing. But at first, when she said it, it was like death. Like, I do not want to do that. It scared me, but it was something that I end up loving. But they knew that I was just quiet and shy, and I was always a chubbier child, so that just added
Mm,
to it. So on the top of being chubby, I didn't want to speak up too much. I didn't want anybody to take an opportunity to make fun of me or bully me. So I really, really just downplayed myself, kept in the background, just to seem like I was just, I'm here, but I'm not here. So that's
mhm.
how I moved for a long time, especially, in like elementary school, middle school. It was just, I had friends that I could be myself around, but if there were new people that came around, or if I was in a group that I didn't, know anybody, you wouldn't know, you would have to speak to me and be like, "Hey, what's your name?" Because I wasn't the type to be outgoing and speak.
Mm. Gotcha. That makes sense. I love that your mom put you in an activity to kind of help you get you out of your shell.
Yeah.
My parents didn't really put me in anything, but I on my own joined like the drama club.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot of people would be surprised like I was, on stage singing and dancing but I was still a super quiet kid off the stage.
Yes. Like if I'm doing something I love, like I had like a thrifting Instagram page and I love to like
Mm,
thrift and have fashion and I love clothes. So I would take tons of pictures, do content, and they're like,
mm,
"Well, how can you do that and you're an introvert?" I mean, I'm in a
right,
camera, just me and the camera, I'm putting pictures on. I don't have to be around for them to critique me or whatever. I could just post it
right.
and go. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think people think because you're in front of a camera or if you're doing something on stage, then you just automatically are not an introvert, but that's not true at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, you wrote your first book or published your first book this year. First of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. What inspired you to write a children's book?
I've always loved children's books. I don't know. I love the illustrations. Even now, I go for children's books and biographies. So those are like my two things. I wanted when I was growing up, there was never any children's book that I could relate to as far as someone who looked like me at all. I can't
Yeah.
even remember one character that looked like me, a little black girl, little chubby black girl, natural hair, like none of that. So I always knew I
Mhm.
wanted to have a character that resembles me or other little girls who look like me who could relate to. And I did a book series because when I was growing up, I loved the Adventures in Babysitters book series by Martin. That was like my favorite thing to just escape in. And I always knew like if I'm gonna be a writer, I'm gonna have a book series like this. So that's how the book series came along. But I feel like as far as children's books, everyone should be represented. There should be children's books filled with just diversity and representation. So that is why I decided to write children's books. I mean, I just feel drawn to them, and I just want every little child to feel like they matter. Because when you don't see yourself represented in books like other little kids, then you start to think, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not represented? Why isn't anybody writing stories with characters that look like me? And
Yeah.
those type of things can really affect someone's confidence, their self-worth. So for me as like a little girl growing up that was introverted, chubby, I dealt with self-confidence issues. And maybe if I had a character who looked like me, who was, doing things in stories, maybe I would have been like, well, she's doing it, so can I. So that is why I decided to write a children's book and have a little girl that looked like me and other little girls around the world.
I love that. Yeah, the representation definitely matters. I have nieces and one of my youngest niece, I would specifically look for like when I'm buying stuff for her, like a book bag, I would look for stuff that had brown characters on it because when she would see it, like her face would just light up
Yes.
and she would think it's picture of her on there. She's like, "That's me." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
you."
To see a child say, a little girl said, that looks like me, that's me, that
Mhm.
is a reward enough for anything that I had to go through to get the book published. That is enough for me because that is the goal for little girls to see themselves in Peyton.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Now, in our interview, the magazine interview, I think you talked a little bit about the challenge you had with, was it publishing or
Formatting.
formatting?
So when you upload your book to Amazon, Kindle, KDP, you have to format your book. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, I can do this step by step. It was tragic. Like I was so frustrated at that moment. I was like, can I really do this? Like I was so like that almost made me say, forget this, I'm done. And then I never even thought to myself, like, hire someone who can do this. There's people who can do this in like 5 minutes.
Right.
And me being an introvert, asking for help sometimes is hard. So I was
Yes.
like, I never even thought of hiring somebody. Like it was never a thought. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was like, you know what, let me hire someone. I did. They did it in like 10 minutes. And I was aggravated for days trying to upload this book, and they did it immediately. So that's why I always tell people, like, regardless of if you think you can do it, if you try it, great. And if it's giving you grief and you just can't get it, there's people out there who could do it. Hire someone, because unfortunately we can't do it all. We're not experts at everything. There's someone out there that is an expert in what you need done. If I would have did that sooner, it would have caused, it would have, I would have saved myself a lot of grief and headache and frustration. But yes, that formatting was not a game at all.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely understand that. Us as entrepreneurs, we do try to do everything ourselves, whether it's because we don't know that there's help out there or we think we don't want to spend the money. And it really holds us back. Because
Yes.
if you think about like the companies that you've worked for, they have several employees and they're all handling a different area of business, but here we are trying to do 100
Everything.
different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And I felt like you should have just done this earlier, crazy girl. But I did it, and I knew from moving forward I would hire someone to do it. That was something that I just could not master, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you have this book series that you wrote. How has it been when it comes to like putting your book out there and marketing and getting it seen? Like how have you been handling that?
Mark, it's tough for me. I know that if I want my if my to get my book to the masses, I have to push myself out of my comfort zone. There's
Mhm.
no way that I can write my book and just let it be. It can be on Amazon, it could be on Barnes and Nobles, but if nobody knows it's there, it's not gonna, see the day of light. So I purposely tell myself, like, you have to do this. You have to, like, it's a constant pep talk. Like, P, you
Yeah.
have to, reach out to people. I join groups, which I never usually do because that's just, it just wasn't me. So I join groups. I try to be interactive with the groups, join, if they're doing like a project, I'll join in, just because it's me not just trying to get my book out there, but it's me stepping outside my comfort zone. And believe
Mhm.
me, one day I can feel like, yes, I'm doing this, I'm signing up for this. And then when the day comes, I'm like, oh my God, like, do I really want to do this? But I have to keep going because marketing your book and putting yourself out there is part of the job. It's not always fun. I don't always want to do it, but I have to do it. And if I don't keep pushing myself, I will find any excuse to just stay in my bubble. My bubble is my happy place, and I'm fine with that. But I know that if I want to go to the next level, if I want to, reach my goals, I can't stay in this. I have to like put my introvertness to the side and do it. So if I know I have to, be somewhere and interact with people from 3 to 4, then I'm going to put on my best face and do what I need to do. But then I come home and recharge. Like I feel drained. I'm like, oh, that was a lot. So yeah, I just have to do it. I mean, it's hard sometimes, and sometimes I don't want to, but I know that it's best for me to learn how to come out of my shell, and it's best for my business and my book. So I have to do it. Like I told myself that if I want to be an author and do the things that I want to do, that I have to do things differently. And that means me doing things that I would never do. So that's what I'm doing. And so far, so good. It's definitely paying off. Definitely paying
Yeah.
off.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. You mentioned about, after you put yourself out there, then you have to, recharge. What are some things that you do to like recharge your energy?
If I'm out in a situation and I'm being social and I come home, usually I just lay down and relax. I watch I love 80s movies and TV shows, so
Mhm.
I'm probably watching just something that's just going to make me laugh, something that I'm familiar with and I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Um, And that's just what I do. Just basically nothing, because I don't want to have to not even really look at my phone. I don't want to just I just want to be by myself in my bubble, in my space. And that's usually just laying down watching TV. Something that I like, one of my favorite shows, and that's it. That's how I usually recharge. Because it is draining sometimes. My son, my oldest son, he is a very, very, very strong introvert. He's
Mhm.
so introverted that in the beginning I was worried, because I was like, he doesn't like, he's not very much of a people person. He's very much, he just likes to be by himself.
Yeah.
And he is one of those people that when he's around people, he's totally drained. Like, he has
Mm.
to take a couple of days to like really get himself back. I'm not that much of an introvert as he is, but I get it when he says, "Mom, I'm just drained." I understand that you have to recharge, especially when you're
Yeah.
not around, people a lot. And I work from home now, so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. When I had to
Yes.
go to the office, it was fine. I mean, I've been at my job a long time, so I'm very comfortable around my coworkers. But now that I work from home, I think I'm more of an introvert. I'm so like
Mm.
okay being in the house. I don't really have to go outside if I don't want to. Um, so yeah, I'm just, again, people will say you're not an introvert, but I really am. I mean, people will argue me down like you're not, and I really am. I'd love to be. Even my husband, he's an introvert. Me and him, we love to be at home. Like, if we could be at home all
Yeah.
the time, we're fine. We're not
Mhm.
FOMO. We don't have a fear of missing out. None of that. We are fine at home.
Yeah. I like being at home, but since I've been working from home, so I've been working from home and on my own since 2019. Now I feel like I do stuff like outside a little bit more because since I'm home every single day, it's like, okay, I do want a little bit of social interaction. But when I had a day job and I worked in HR, and so I dealt with people
Oh,
all
all
day,
the time. Yeah.
every day. So in the evenings and the weekends, I never wanted to leave my house. But now that I spend so much time alone, it's like, okay, I do get excited when I have a meet up with my friends, or even if I'm meeting up with a stranger for like a networking thing, I do tend to enjoy those interactions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
something that's not, I don't have to do it every single day, but you're right. When I
Yeah.
do have to like go and do something and actually like put on clothes and get myself all, dressed up, I do enjoy those moments, because I don't do it as I used to, because I'm
Yeah.
not in the office anymore. I'm in, I'm always in sweatpants and t-shirts or whatever. So yes, those
Mhm.
moments I do, because it's not an all the time situation. So yes, I do look forward to those moments when I have to go out and, for a little bit, get my interaction and then come back home.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think I might be similar to your son, because I do get like my energy does drain pretty quickly. So like last week I hosted a networking event and like after the event I was excited about it because it went well, but then it was in the evening, it's like my body just gave out on me and it felt like I did so much physical activity, but
Activity.
I
Yeah,
didn't,
that's how
but it
he's Mom, I'm just so tired. And I'm like, we just came from like my niece's graduation party, and he's just
mhm,
so like, he's around people. How you doing? How they haven't seen you in a way. So he had to be like on for a very long time. So when he
yeah,
came, he was like, I just want to go to bed. I'm so tired. I'm drained. And I'm just like, now I understand, because he really had to like, he exerted a lot of himself for something that he usually doesn't do on a regular basis like that.
right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I typically need a day to recover.
Yes.
Hmm. What's something that uh what's something in your business that or your yeah, your business that you are really proud of. So, like maybe a success or a milestone that you've had so far.
Well, today I saw that my book, the book
Oh,
that just came out, is number one in children's music books, ebooks, and
okay.
children's music instruction. So I'm number one
Wow.
in both of those categories. So I'm super excited about that because I'm just so proud of myself that I actually made my dream come true. And I worked
Mhm.
hard. The first book wasn't, it was like I wrote a book. I didn't tell anybody. And then I was like, hey, I wrote a book. There was no, build up. It was nothing. So this time there was, I had a marketing plan and I, promoted it. And I'm so proud of myself. When I saw that, it was just like, oh my God, it's been a great week. I'm going to tell you, it's been a good week. And I'm most proud of that. I'm very, very proud of that. When I saw that today. So yeah, that is the most excitingest thing. I'm big on celebrating all wins, big
Yes.
or small now, because as I get older, I'm just like everything is I'm celebrating it. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. So that is like my biggest accomplishment right now, just to see that my book is number one in two categories for children's books.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just super excited. That is like my biggest accomplishment, my biggest win right now so far.
Yeah, congratulations. That is
Thank
so
you.
exciting.
Yes, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that your effort paid off. Because like you, so I've written one book, business related book, but like you, I did it and I said, hey, I have a book, but there was no like
Exactly. There was nothing.
marketing or plan. Like, I mean, I was just excited that I accomplished that because I didn't expect to do that. And writing it was stressful, but
Yes.
but, I think I do wanna write another one, and so now that, I know how to do it and the process, I'll probably or I will put in, create a plan for marketing and all of that because we put all that effort in it, so people need to see it.
People need to see it. So this time it was such a different experience, to have people celebrate with me, to congratulate me, people actually buying the book that are not my
Mhm.
family. It's just a great it's a big contrast between the first time. Is the first time it was just like if I can figure this out, then I know I can do it. I made a ton of
Mhm.
mistakes. I mean, horrendous mistakes, but I was like if I can figure out this process, then I know I can do it. And I did, and I've already put out two books. The third book literally is just finished illustrating,
Mm.
formatting. So that'll be out November 5th for Christmas, because that's my favorite time of year. So I knew I had
Mhm.
to write a book for that. And I'm just going to keep going. I feel like I just love putting out children's books. So I'm super excited just to see where Peyton's going to go, what she's going to do. But I'm very proud of myself. And as an introvert, I don't know, for me, I am always like, well, I'm proud, but I don't want to like shout that I'm proud. Like I'll be happy for
Mm.
myself, but I don't want to like seem like I'm boasting or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm
Yeah.
learning to celebrate things that I've done, things that I'm proud of. I'm learning that it's
Yeah.
okay to, speak up and say, "Hey, I'm proud of myself," or "This is what I accomplished." Because for so long I didn't do that,
Right.
and definitely part of me being an introvert, being shy, just not having that confidence, and being 47 almost, like I am going to shout from the hilltops every
Yes.
accomplishment, every win, regardless if people think it's a win or not. For me, I'm going to celebrate everything. And I'm learning that now to, it's okay to speak up and say, hey, I'm proud of myself. This is something I accomplished. I want to share this with the world or with whomever.
Right.
Because again, I've done it for so long. I didn't do it for so long.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think that is a common thing for many introverts of us not speaking out about the things that we're doing. Like we're doing amazing things, we're making an impact, but we're just doing it a lot. quieter than
quieter.
other people.
Yeah. Then a lot quieter. When I feel like I want to, when there's something I'm truly proud of, I will share, on my Instagram page, and I'm loving it. But most of the time, if I'm posting, it's because I have to post for my book. But I feel like I definitely am going to continue to share my wins, and sometimes I may not. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I mean, but um being an introvert is definitely a daily pull of it's just a daily pull. Sometimes I have to, really pep myself up to do things, because if not, that introvert side of me is so strong. It'd be like, just stay in your bubble. Don't go anywhere. You don't have to do that. You're
Right.
fine. Send an email or just do that. So you have to no, I have to do this. I have to go out. I have to meet these people. I told them I would be there. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna cancel or make something up. So some days it's a real, like, me and my introvert side are really going back and forth, just to be like, no, 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 no. So yeah, it could be a daily struggle, definitely.
Yeah, I get it. And really, that's what building her dream is about, celebrating us and the amazing work that we do. And so I'm so glad to have you featured on our platform, and we'll definitely celebrate all of the
Yeah.
things
So thank
that
you
you're
so
doing.
the magazine article is just, it's amazing. I look at it every day. I just look at the pages and I'm like, oh my God, that's me. So it's just a thank you for allowing me to share my story with your audience. Seriously, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you mentioned that so eventually you want to be an author full time. So what would that look like?
That would be me writing. But also I want to get into the school systems. I created a workshop called Reading Rocks. I
Hmm.
love to do author visits, and I feel like doing the author visit is great, reading to the kids, but I wanted to just enhance it, just to give them a better experience. So Reading Rocks
Mhm,
is just to really nurture and foster the love for reading, and not just while the kids are in school, especially at
mhm,
the school level. Because reading is super important. I mean, like, you have to really grasp it to excel. So I created Reading Rocks, and I'm building a curriculum to go with each of my books, so I can get it into the school system. I wrote a proposal. I've sent it out to different schools, so I've gotten one for the upcoming school year. So I'm
right.
really excited about that. But that is something that I'm really passionate about as well, kids for reading, because reading was something I love to do. It took me to different
Mhm,
places. I was engrossed in books for hours. Not even just the Babysitters Club, although that was my favorite, but I just love to just get lost in a book. And I could finish a book in like a day or 2 days, because I was just so enthralled with it. And I want kids to feel like that, and not just in school where they feel like they have to read. I want them to really, like, pick up a book when they're not. I rather, read a book than watch a TV show. So yeah, that is my goal. That's what I would love to do full time.
mhm,
Just to really, really help kids fall in love with reading like I did. Work with the nonprofits. I'm working with a nonprofit now, actually, Reach Reads, and I have an event with them next week. And they literally just help um, offer. They have a bookstore where all the books are free. You can go in and pick up books. They're not just used; they're brand new. It was just an
mm.
amazing gem that I found in my community that I didn't even know was there, and that is something that I would love to just like dedicate my time to as well. So writing is my biggest thing, but um, doing those things, helping the kids, and really getting kids to love reading and fall in love with reading, that's what I'm really passionate about as well.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, the workshops, I think that's a really great idea. Not only because it'll, help the kids, but also just as another revenue source.
Yes, yes. So
Because
I'm really, I knew that I didn't come into writing to be an author to make money. Like that wasn't
Mhm,
the goal, because I know that you don't make a lot of money being an author off the bat. You know what I'm saying? So I do it because I love it. Um,
mhm.
I know that if I want to bring in an income, it has to be outside of writing. I have to diversify, my author brand, and going into the schools and creating this workshop and writing curriculums to go along with my book. That is the piece where I can monetize,
Mhm.
but also I can help elementary school kids again fall in love and nurture them getting into reading.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Mm. So, what advice would you give to any other introverts that are out there listening who are, just starting their business journey? Or what is something that maybe you wish someone would have told you before you started?
Being an introvert, we will always, or I always would say that I'm going to I want to do this, like for being an author. I want to be an author, but then I would always get nervous, fearful. I would be on the fence, but I wouldn't jump. I would get like imposter syndrome, like maybe I'm not good enough, or there's other people who are better than me. Like I would literally just talk myself out of it. Being an
Yeah.
introvert, you just have to jump. Like on your good day, when you're feeling like the most confident, because there's days where you just feel like I'm great, I'm doing this, I'm doing, you have to jump. You have to jump. And I promise you, when you get off the fence and you just forget your fears, or you not even forget them, just don't let them take over, you will fly. I promise you, you'll figure it all out. And it's not easy when you're not a very sociable person, when you prefer to be alone or prefer to be around people you're most comfortable with. But you have to look at the bigger picture. If it's something that you really want to accomplish, you will do what you need to do. If I have to be out for 3 hours and I know I have to be sociable, just know that when I come home, I'm recharging. I know that's what I think to myself. Like, get through this and you can go home, you can put on your PJs and you can be back in your
Right.
bubble. You know what I'm saying? And that gets me through a lot, especially when there's times when I just don't want to be at a certain place. But if you are wanting to start a business or whatever you want to do when you're an introvert, you have to make the first step. Nobody else can make it for you. You know what I'm saying? You have to find that confidence to be like, I don't know it all, because nobody knows it all when they're starting something. And just go for it and you will figure it out. I promise. If it's that important to you, you will learn it, you will figure it out, you will get your business started, and you will just keep learning along the way. And then you'll get some type of routine of like, okay, I know I have to do this, but I can come home and watch my favorite TV show and get back in my bubble for the rest of the night. So that's what I do with myself. Whatever gets me through to do what I have to do to, make my business grow, then that's what I'll do. If I gotta like give myself like, okay, if you go this, then you can do this. Then that's just what
Yeah.
I have to do. It's just just me and my introverted side. We have to have we have a relationship. Like sometimes, we got to give and take. So
Right.
once you figure out like what works for you to get you, to have to be sociable at certain times or whatever, it's okay. And for me, I started when I started writing, and I had to reach out to places. I did it via email. It's easy. I'm
Mhm.
computer. I can reach out to anybody behind my computer. I'm fine with that. It all kicked in when they were like, okay, come in, let's talk, let's have a conversation. That's when I had to like, okay, this is what we have to do. I have to, you know, work myself up to actually go to this meeting and present my book and do what I have to do. But at the end of the day, you have to make that first step. I can't make it for you. You can't make it. Everybody has to make that first step. And once you do it, regardless if you're introverted, whatever, you will be proud. You'll be happy. You'll be like, I did it, because I'm here and I'm in awe of myself that I've actually done this. And I just started my first book. It was in February. It's May. It's only been like 4 months, and literally my life has done a total 360. You know,
Yeah.
and it was up to me to make that move. I had to make the move. My husband can be like, "What are you doing? You're going to do it?" He couldn't do it for me. I had to do it. So
Right.
if you want it bad enough, and if you want to make your dreams come true, then you have to you and your introverted side have to have a conversation. Like, look, this is what I want to do. So we're going to do this. And just do it. It's possible. It is so possible. It is. My son, like I told you, he's an introvert. He wants to be a director. He's in school right now for film. It's funny because you want to be a director, you want to direct people, but you're an introvert. But when he's doing those things, you would never know he's an introvert because it's
Right.
something he is so passionate about. If he has to be around people, he has to, he has film classes and film projects. He loves it, so he does it. So if it's something that you love and you want to do, your introvert side it'll get on board. I promise it will. Don't let time pass you by. Don't be like me and wait till you're almost 50 to do what you want to do. Do it now. Do it now. I promise you, you won't be sorry.
Right. I love that. And even if you are 50 or 60, you
Or
can
60
still
or
start.
70, you could do it. I'm in groups right now for my writing, and there's people like, hey, I'm 76 and I wrote my first children's book. And I'm thinking I'm late in life doing my first children's book. And these
Right.
people are almost 80 years old and they're fulfilling their dreams. So you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like they're doing it late in life. But if you have the opportunity to do it right now, just do it. Don't, just do it. I promise you, again, just do it. Do it, do it, do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, Paula, it has been really great chatting with
Yes.
you.
Enjoy myself. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate when anybody wants me to come on and talk about my
Yeah.
journey. It still feels surreal, but I'm so glad that I get to inspire folks. Hopefully, I'm inspiring someone to see my story and be like, you know what, if she can do it, let me give it a go.
Mhm. And if anyone wants to check out your books or learn more about you, where should they go?
You can find my books. They are on Amazon, but you can come to my website, paulabanks.com. I also have all my books there. I'm on Instagram mostly for social media, and it's author Paula Banks is my Instagram name.
Okay, awesome. So we'll definitely check you out on your website and social media. And
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for joining me today, Paula.
Thank you so much. You have a great day. Bye, guys.
This has been another episode of the Building Her Dream podcast. If you've enjoyed it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, leave us a review, and stay up to date with what we're doing by visiting www.buildingherdream.com.